Welcome back. Let's now throw the spotlight on the real estate sector. Now, property consultant ANAROCK in a recent note has said the share of luxury homes, which means homes priced above 1.5 crore in the last 5 years, has shot up. So 5 years back in 2019, the share of luxury homes was about 7%, and now it stands at 21%. So that's a 3x jump, while the sales of affordable housing is down to 20% versus 37%, again, in the same period of 5 years. To talk about the trends that we are seeing, we're now joined by Anuj Puri, chairman of ANAROCK Property Consultants. Thank you very much, Anuj, for joining in. First, actually take us through what your study throws up. What are the key takeaways?
So first of all, very good morning to you and your viewers. It is a very interesting dynamics the way the residential market is performing today. I'll just take you before COVID, 2019-20 financial year. The overall sales in value terms for India amongst the top 7 cities was 1,65,000 crores. And FY24, 5 years hence, that sales is 5,25,000 crores. So 1,65,000 crores just before COVID, going to 5,25,000 crores. So the overall market has really zoomed up. In that, the luxury has accelerated faster than the affordable housing. So I do want to say the affordable housing has grown because the overall market has grown, nearly 3.5 times. So both have grown, affordable housing and luxury, but luxury has grown faster than the affordable housing. Overall, we are seeing that it was a 15-year record year for sales. Clearly, the sales have been much more than the launches, and the overall inventory has reduced to nearly a 7-year low, particularly in NCR, where we've seen the luxury sales really balloon.
Okay, Anuj, just stay on for a second. We're just getting visuals of that conversation with Anuj Puri that we were having on the rise of luxury housing in the country. Anuj, I was looking at the data that your sort of colleagues put together. The fact is that this is most pronounced perhaps in Delhi NCR, right? Because that is where the share of luxury has skyrocketed in the last 5 years. It's gone up to some 39% from just 4% 5 years ago. Whereas if you look at other geographies, look at Kolkata, even look at Mumbai, MMR, your data is saying that this is not a market where there's so much luxury sale, it's a lot of mid-income housing. How do you sort of look at this trend in Delhi NCR where it's just these large ticket houses that are flying?
So it is true, Surabhi, that NCR has pleasantly surprised us. And if you look at the sales that DLF has recorded, Signature Global, which was largely an affordable housing developer, since listing has moved into premium and luxury. Again, Surabhi, Ashiana listed, they were largely mid-level. If you look at the product, they're moving into premium and luxury. M3M, similarly moving in that direction because the demand is really coming in from the users wanting bigger, better, more expensive. Many people are consolidating their positions in the stock market, taking out the money and using this for buying their residential homes. We've also seen, the price appreciation happening in the luxury far more than on the affordable side. So nearly 20% over the last 2.5 years, the price rise that has happened on luxury. But more importantly, Surabhi, what has happened is since COVID, people are wanting bigger apartments. So as a result of which the price is increasing as a total, ticket price. And it's also escaping the definition of affordable housing. The affordable housing definition, which the government had set up in 2017, has not been modified. It's been 7 years. That definition of 30 square meters in tier 1 and 60 square meters in tier 2 still continues. The same is the demand from the end user has gone up, post-COVID, not wanting that 1.5 bedroom, but they're wanting sort of bigger, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom.
Sure.
So that is where I think both those things are happening is, one, stock market consolidation and people taking out the money and buying really luxury. And then people move away from affordable because they're wanting bigger and hence not falling in the definition of affordable housing.
Of affordable housing, yeah. I mean, very valid points. You said 20% appreciation in 2 years. that's luxury, appreciation only in NCR or all over the country?
So this is largely all over the country.
All over the country. Got it. So, Anuj, my point on luxury is simply this. How convinced are you that this is, as you're saying, even genuine end-user demand, people looking for bigger homes? And is there an element of speculation building up? The reason I'm asking is that, is it really feasible that every single project that's launched, I mean, in NCR, it's a norm, right? Sold in 3 days, sold in, gone in 60 seconds, and the likes of it. So is that an element of marketing / speculation investor demand that's creeping in? Or is it, plain genuine demand? I'm asking to gauge the health of the rally, the real estate rally, as we see it today.
A very important point, Surabhi. So I'll say two things. One is, it is not with all the developers what you're seeing the sellout that is happening. It is only with good quality developers. The consolidation, the maturity that has come into the market. Any developer wanting to launch luxury will fail in NCR, will fail across India. It is largely the listed developers or even unlisted, very leading developers. So the buyer has become very discerning. As a result of which, I will not say it's a generic statement that anybody who launches luxury will be able to sell it. It's really quality developers who are going to be able to sell it. I'll give you one more trick, Surabhi, on this is that, when we come out with the news that, we sold it in 8 hours, 1 day, 15 minutes. Actually, it is not that we sold it in 15 minutes or 8 hours. There's been a 1 month work that was done before that. So you had warmed up the market, you had brought in the potential investors, you actually just banked the checks that time. So I'm telling you a secret in that is, so when we say it sold out in 8 hours, there was nearly 1.5, 2 months of work done before that. All you did that day was bank the checks, and hence you recorded the sale that day. Otherwise,
and you still have. And even on that day, Anuj, to bank the check, you just have to put a small upfront amount, right? Yes. There is a possibility that some of them back out.
Absolutely. And they do back out. But, most of the developers will make sure that, they are able to cover whatever the cancellation that happens. Usually we take between 10 to 12% as cancellations that will happen, after the first day. And those cancellations, then they'll fill it up over the next 30, 40 days.
Okay. At least with that clarification, Reema, I'm feeling slightly better because when you hear of sold in 1 day, sold in 8 hours, you wonder, oh God, I have zero money to buy any of this. But okay, there is a lot of back-end work that's going behind the scenes as well, and there are other factors at play as well. Anuj, just to come to the other point, I mean, we are in election season. Once elections are done and, we are dealing with a new government, any more sort of SOPs, triggers, regulatory changes that you're expecting to also address the other sides of the market, the mid-income and the so-called affordable, where the definition is an issue, as you explained?
I do feel is that the affordable definition will really need to be looked at. As I said, it's been nearly 7 years and it hasn't been looked at. And that's why, you're seeing the data getting distorted, where the demands really moved in for a little bit bigger homes. Post-COVID, yet because of the definition of affordable, we can't take that into the affordable housing, and hence, it's getting out of that and showing a skew more towards mid-level or premium. So that's one thing that we are hoping. And second is, hopefully some SOPs for the developers, because if you look at it across the board, many of these developers who used to do affordable housing are getting away from affordable housing, saying is, it is not as, accretive on the margins as perhaps mid-premium or luxury is. So I do feel is that at some stage, one will really need to look at it. Some of the old SOPs that were being given to the developers where the sunset had happened, perhaps will need to be brought in again, or at least relooked so that they get excited, the developers get excited to be able to, get back onto the affordable housing. But, having said that, on the PMAY, the government is doing a phenomenal job on the affordable housing. And, they're not only talking, but if you look at the data that is coming out, they've actually been able to deliver, a lot of these affordable housing and hence fulfilling the shortfall that is coming in from the private sector on affordable housing.
Thank you, Anuj. This has been a great conversation. Thank you very much for joining in. By the way,